When you search the internet to improve your lap time, you come across trail braking. Now, trail braking is absolutely a great skill to master, but in Le Mans Ultimate, this is actually not really helping you in a lot of cases. This technique, what I'm gonna explain in this video, is gonna help you to drive more aggressive setups, it's gonna help you save more fuel, and it's gonna make driving a hell of a lot easier and drop the lap time at the same time. And I already hear you thinking, is that such a thing, such an easy thing even possible? Yes, and you can apply it too in your driving. I've been sim racing for multiple years. I'm always searching for the edges, how to improve, how to make a better setup. This is going to be all about the driving and you can apply it immediately. So let's get into it. I'm gonna show you something in Le Mans Ultimate what you can apply to your lap time, and that is this. Coasting. Imagine like how much horsepower does this GT3 car have? Like 400-500 horsepower or something? A lot of torque as well. So think about when I'm in third gear and I shift down and releasing the throttle. It's absolutely not stopping the car. The car keeps flying. Now, I don't know, maybe there's like some sort of a throttle electronic that keeps the car, preventing the car from slowing down so much, but we are gonna exploit this to create a better lap time. And it's not only gonna create a better lap time, it's gonna allow us to drive more safely with more aggressive setups, and we're gonna fuel save at the same time. So stick around for this. In the whole video I will explain where this lap time is coming from, and I will also make an example of this where you can actually see the delta drop and save fuel at the same time, and how that actually works as a physics, at least as far as I can understand. So, when we go out, and you can immediately apply this to your driving, normally you would say, I'm gonna trail brake a lot. So I'm trail braking, and like this, right? Now the problem with doing that in Le Mans Ultimate is that we are pushing the speed out of the car to gain rotation, right? Sure, and you need to trail brake to some extent to make the car turn under the braking. But what you also can do is this. Now you can see the flat lines in the telemetry that I was coasting and coasting. Guess what I'm doing over there? The differential of the car stabilizes the car, we're saving fuel, and we're not slowing the car down with the brakes. So let's show you another example. On these corners, for instance. Now again, a big coastline in the telemetry over here as well. You see how much I am coasting? If I try to trail brake that corner section, I oversteer. And you got all this information on the internet, like use the trail braking. Now I'm aware of this fact. I can immediately go to more aggressive setups, because when I'm releasing the throttle, I'm not oversteering the car so much. So let's talk about it some more. When you off the throttle in Le Mans Ultimate, what's happening? The differential locks to its coast. So in a GT3 car, you got this limited slip differential. And as you release the throttle, think about arrows pulling down on the car. The inside wheel needs to rotate a bit more slowly than the outside. And with a GT3 car, this is a fixed value. It might feel different on different cars. And as soon as you release the throttle, this starts happening. Think about the rear wheels on the acceleration is kind of pulling the car into stability. and it's pulling the car into stability, but it's not slowing the car down so much. So, for instance, maybe in another simulation, releasing the throttle would really stop the car hard to gain stability, but not in Le Mans Ultimate. The car keeps flying on a really high speed, but you do get the stability. The stability you don't get when you trail brake, because then you'll push more load transfer to the fronts, making the fronts very dominant and makes it kind of oversteery on some scenarios, especially when you go slower and get like less aerodynamic help, right? So as currently in Le Mans Ultimate, when you reach the threshold where you lose aerodynamics, the differential is absolutely dominant for your car's stability, and you can drive really aggressive setups and coast at the same time. And I highly recommend testing this out for yourself. So if you're normally driving a lap and you're doing something and you're struggling with the pace, pick up that throttle pedal, release it, and see how the car's turning and how much stability it gives you. It feels counterintuitive in the beginning, but it's the only explanation I can come up with if I see really fast people on lower fuel usage than me. They are lifting the car more, and they are braking more aggressively in a straight line and trail braking less in the corners. By the way, if you think these are cool pages, I got 110 more of them. This is my ultimate car setup guide, how to build your own car setups for beginners, advanced, and even more advanced people. I got a few spots left because I want to test it out to see how good it is. You'll be in a private community, and we'll build setups in a very easy 7-step system. Check the link out down below. There's a few spots left for the first testers of this product. Let's move on. So let's talk about how that normally went, or how I used to drive. So I bleeding off the brakes, apply steering input, the car is kind of turning, and then immediately I hit the throttle and exit the corner, right? So we're moving on to this next section, and you can see I'm not coasting at all over there. So I'm really trying to trail brake, bleed off these brakes, and I did it even for longer periods as well to create rotation in the car. Now again, also on this corner, I'm hitting those brakes, not fully because I'm also turning the car, but I'm bleeding off. And now I'm again on the throttle to pick up the pace a little bit. I'm braking again, bleeding off. This curb is a really tricky corner, this one, but immediately I'm back on the throttle. And the feeling that I get here is absolutely like pushing hard, you know, driving as fast as I can. Now here is the other example, and now I am hitting the brakes way more aggressive, but I also releasing it way more aggressive, and now I'm coasting and steering. And you can look at this delta, how it's dropping. Like it was 0.55, now it's like 60, 61. So imagine how much time I'm gaining here and more speed I'm carrying through that corner. Now this setup is super aggressive, and I'm learning the car as we go. And here I apply the same. I hit the throttle, I release the brakes, I oversteer a bit, touch the throttle to get even more stability. And here again, I touch the brakes, and I'm a bit early on the turn-in over here, so I'm kind of losing a little bit. But I'm so confident, and I'm coasting a lot in this instant, right? So that is just the thing how I do it now. So on the GT3 cars, you power and coast differential are closed off. You cannot change it. But think about increasing the preload. Means that there's more nuance to this feeling. So if you, let's say, go to the max, you got a more tougher time to lock up the differential. So if you go off throttle with a high preload, the rear tires are locking more, creating even more stability. The problem, however, with high preload is that it's also locking under throttle. So you might feel some understeer when you go on the throttle, and we don't want that. I don't want that. So I pick a low value normally. Obviously the differential is completely like this preload. Sometimes it's even like placebo, or I don't really feel it, or it might be different for every other car. Now, if you're on a hypercar or LMP car or whatever, you got these coast and power settings, right? So think about when you're off the throttle and you have a very low coast percentage, this means the differential opens up and you lose stability when you go off the throttle. So if you're running a very aggressive setup with like a lot of rake and like very soft front suspension, stiff rear suspension, aggressive brake bias, all that good stuff, then you might wanna run a higher coast setting. This just remember this, off throttle behavior, higher is more stability. The advantage of hypercars are you don't get the preload negative effects increasing it. So if you have 100% coast locking, so it basically locks up like a go-kart off the throttle, you can still have the open differential on the throttle. So it gets great rotation in fast corners on the very low power percentage. Now, when you go for, let's say you take this setting, right? 10 and 7T, right? Then how is the relation with preload? Now think about this as the preload. Preload, high preload, is there's more force needed to get to this coast value. And if you go very low on the preload, it's very easy for the differential to get to that value. So it's more direct. Now, do you want immediate stability when you go off the throttle? I think yes. So therefore, you put it on 0. That's a little bit of the idea. I really need to do more research to make better explanations, but this is what you can immediately apply. And the best thing about the differential is it's very much for fine-tuning, but it could also be the first step when you struggle some corners. Let's say, dang, I have some little bit of oversteer every time I'm on that corner when I'm coasting. Add a few percentage of the coast locking and you'll get rid of that oversteer. And the car is still the same everywhere else. Just off the throttle, it's a bit different. And you can fine-tune it with preload. So maybe I want to happen that a little bit more slowly. So that's why you increase the preload. If you're liking this content, then please hit that like button. And if you want to have different skill and aggressive level setups, check out my store below. I sell them for every GT3 car. And yeah, you can also test out these differentials. I also put some hypercars there. So thanks for watching.